quick announcement before we get started, we got another wave of UGC Roblox accessories that I just cooked, and they're looking cool. We got the jellyfish hats, the owl earrings, and some eye patches in a few different variants, and they're fully customizable on your avatar, so pick them up. The link will be down below, and comment what you guys want to see next. What's up guys, it's Punchy, and I'm back again with another weekly Deepwoken update. There's a few special things happening this update, and I'm excited to break it down. Seriously, you won't want to miss this one since it's cool. Also, last week was pretty solid all things considered. We got a crazy new relic that is borderline overpowered, Enmity got a new move that's a curse technique, and the True Seraph Spear received a busted new critical. I think there were some great additions, sure, but let's be real, they weren't too balanced. But this week, we got something new. As always, if you truly want that full experience, I recommend hopping in game and testing everything new for yourself. Let's get right into it. Added today, we just received an insane new legendary weapon and something that we haven't really seen before. Well, actually, maybe you have seen this if you were very lucky, but yeah, it's weird. Anyway, introducing the legendary bow, the Guiding Star. Taking a look at this thing, it's a new branch-like bow with an astral appearance, and it's got a nave-like design and is honestly one of my favorites visually. It's pretty clean, but let's talk about its in-game behavior. For starters, the M1 attacks on Guiding Star are a bit different and they have slightly more range than other weapons. This makes the star one of the longest range options in the entire game, but the bolts that you shoot aren't even projectiles. On top of this, the running attack and aerial attack have extended reach and slight tracking, meaning they curve towards nearby enemies and kind of auto-aim. Seriously, that's kind of crazy, but honestly, I think it's pretty cool. Also, one thing to keep in mind, every single M1 variant of the Guiding Star costs ether to use, so you have to be kind of careful. Next, with the critical, it's fairly simple and will 100% be powerful in ganks. By pressing crit, we unleash a volley of 3 ethereal blasts, dealing solid damage from a distance. So in 1v1 fights, landing this might be tricky, but against groups or when you have good positioning, this move is absolutely cracked. Overall, the Guiding Star feels pretty well designed, offering a mix of range, tracking, and ether-based management that shake up gameplay, but I still think it's going to be ridiculous and powerful. To obtain the bow, you have to get employed in 2025 and get a job, which is pretty bad, but anyway, if you pick up the bounty, Lodestar Bounty, it's gonna spawn a mob with the bow that drops it after you kill it. It's pretty easy to obtain and it makes sense. Overall though, this new weapon is crazy. It's a bow in Deepwoken, like seriously, who's really asking for this? But I think it's cool and it works well and it's definitely gonna be powerful, but please let me know your thoughts down below. Other than that, my only criticism about this is that the obtainment method could have been linked to the Neve rep status, Meteor Isle, or any of the NPCs, because right now they're useless. This is something pretty new and I want to give the devs my feedback, so please comment your own thoughts down below. Next, onto even more new content, we have a bunch of interesting outfits all dropping today with their unique talents. Let's start with the Kala Mariner. This outfit is a mix of fabrics, sashes, belts, all tied together in a pirate-like design. It's also got a special tattoo in the middle as well, representing SQUIBBO, the one it's inspired by. Additionally, it just makes sense that this is the drop from the mob as well, so get to farming that. Anyway, the drip here is kinda legendary, but so is the special talent, Tidal Shock. This talent says landing any critical attack will put you into a mantra immune state similar to SQUIBBO, and the critical dazes anybody hit. Honestly, this might be broken, but let's see what it does. On critical, we daze our opponents and it releases some bubbles, indicating that we are now in the Tidal Shock stance. Now, for a set duration after this, all mantras won't work on the user, just like SQUIBBO, until it wears off. This talent is honestly crazy if you're very defensive, and it might be busted with the right build. On to the next outfit with the Arachnid's Corset. Dropping from the Deep Widow Spider, this is a drippy outfit that mixes gold, tan, brown, and even red with its colorful design. Also, it has some cobwebs, which is a nice touch. This too has a pretty broken talent with Corrosive Touch. Landing a successful critical attack will corrode your target's armor, and it is fairly simple. As I'm being hit by a critical, this poisons or corrodes my armor and strips it away. This is pretty interesting with a functionally powerful talent. Next up, we got big changes coming to PvE. According to the patch notes, PvE scaling for weapons and attributes has been rewritten, allowing weapons that aren't just heavy to be useful in combat. M1 PvE scaling is now proportional to swing speed, meaning high swinging weapons, medium or light ones, scale much higher than heavy weapons. So essentially, this kind of balances things out, making all weapons work at a similar level, but it is a big hit coming to heavy weapon. Currently, I wouldn't consider this necessarily a bad thing though, because with faster swinging weapons, you can deal higher DPS or damage per second instead of slower, bigger hits with heavy. The meta is definitely going to change, but I think it is going to boost things up and make it a little bit more diverse in its gameplay. Overall, we'll see what happens, but leave your thoughts down below because I think this is kind of huge. Also, coming up with this update, there's an entirely new system that's been added to the game, and it's going to change builds forever. For now, it's possible to save so many stats and make your builds extremely more diverse, and let me explain how. Added today were 2 new attributes, Mind and Body, and you cannot alter these by investing stats. Both of these can be found on requirements for items or talents and their scalings, but we cannot touch them. For example, to increase your mind, if a talent or weapon scales with willpower, charisma, or intelligence, it is now going to fall under mind. So if something requires 25 mind to use, you can have a minimum of 25 in any of those 3 attributes to use it. On the other hand, Body works in the same exact way, but it's split between strength, agility, and fortitude. So this makes builds much easier to make because you aren't just locked to one specific attributes to unlock certain talents or weapons, and Body and Mind allows this. Instead of wasting our stats on one specific scaling or requirement, this is way more efficient and levels them up with either of the stats. To finalize everything to do with your stats, they have reworked how the stat menu looks when you open up tab, and it's separated into Body and Mind. Now, moving on to this week's balancing changes, and honestly, it's a pretty light patch for balance, so I'll just be highlighting the biggest ones. 2 similar mantras, Fade Trimmer's Close Shave and the medium weapon Prominent Straw, have been bugged ever since their release. For some weird reason, these abilities would go on their full cooldown even if they were fainted, which was never intended. Luckily, this has now been fixed for both mantras, allowing them to be used normally. However, getting hit while using them will cancel all of the mantra momentum, making them a bit riskier to throw out carelessly. This trend also continues for a few other mantras that were previously unfeintable. Now, if the attack gets cancelled by any stun, it properly goes on a full cooldown instead of letting players just constantly reuse this. It finally works as intended, but honestly, I'm surprised it took this long to get fixed. Regardless, it's big ups for PvP balancing. And that's about it for today's updates. Hop in game, try out Battle Royale, and if you're lucky, you might even see me. Thank you to everyone who supports the channel. It really means a lot. If you want even more content, you can join up down below as a member, and for updates or to reach me directly, you can join my Discord. My Deepwoken guild, the Apothecary, is also linked down below if you want to check that out. Finally, join my UGC group. I just dropped a new set, and I appreciate it. Don't forget to like and subscribe since we're almost at 110k subs. Thanks once again, it's punchin' time.